Ever since completing his move from Morocco to Spain, things have been going pretty well for Ani Babooli. Ani Babooli was beginning to attract attention from all kinds of local media outlets, and they all wanted to hear from the Moroccan magician. And Ani Babooli was finally settling into Spain, and he finally got the keys to his brand new apartment. And you gotta remember, this guy is playing for SD Huesca in the Segunda División. That means he ain't making too much money, alright? We ain't playing for Real Madrid here. We're not making the big bucks just yet. So now Ani Babooli has to make do with what he's got. And you can see here, Ani Babooli just enjoying time in his little living room. He's got a TV, he's got an Xbox and a PlayStation, for whatever that's worth. His kitchen has a pizza oven and an espresso machine. And his bedroom? It's a bedroom. What can we say? But heading into match week 9 of the Segunda División, Cadiz host SD Huesca as Tabadadze has the ball and passes it, and Liberto finds Babooli, who finds Silva. And now Alonso, Tapina, and Ani Babooli now on the ball, taking a touch, getting the ball ripped off him by Liberto. Ani Babooli able to get the ball and pass it to Cotarginia. I think that's how you say the name, but Babooli gets the ball, has a shot, and puts it into the back of the net. Ani Babooli scoring once again and doing the Ani Babooli prance. And check it out, Ani Babooli putting SD Huesca up 1-0 nice and early. And Liberto fighting for the ball with the help of Babooli. Babooli working with Liberto, these two forming quite the partnership. Babooli cutting in, cutting back, all kinds of skill moves, all kinds of shenanigans, and a big shot by Babooli, just wide. And the match comes to an end. Huesca picking up a 1-0 victory courtesy of an Ani Babooli thunderstrike. And with that victory, SD Huesca find themselves in 10th place with a total of 13 points and a record of 4 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. Our goal difference sits at -1, and 6 of those goals come from Ani Babooli himself. As we head into match week 10, where we face off against Real Sociedad B. And Babooli applying pressure. And Polido to Silva. Babooli now turning with the ball, passing it to Luna. Luna on the ball, cutting back, passing it to Babooli. Babooli on his left foot. Babooli still on the ball, cutting in, cutting back out. Babooli with a fake shot, turning with the ball, getting past the defense, having a shot, just wide it goes. And Diaz heading the ball up, but Silva's there with the interception. Babooli passing it to Liberto. Liberto back to Babooli. And Babooli now in some open space. Babooli cutting in. Babooli having a shot, unable to score, but Babooli kneeing the ball into the back of the net and scoring his 7th goal of the campaign and hitting the Babooli prance once again. And Ani Babooli beginning to make a name for himself in the Segunda División. And Babooli unable to get the ball. And now, Real Sociedad working on an attack, but Babooli and SD Huesca are there to stop it. And Babooli now making a run, getting the ball, and now taking it down the touchline. Babooli still on the ball, Babooli cutting in. Babooli assessing his options, crossing it, but unable to find his man. And Silva heading it to Albarracin, who finds Babooli. Babooli with a shot and puts it into the back of the net in the dying moments of the match. And Ani Babooli scoring his 8th goal of the campaign in wonderful fashion. And with that goal, SD Huesca find themselves collecting another 3 points, bringing their total up to 16 points and their record at 5 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. And you can see that goal difference is now positive, albeit it's only positive by 1, but we'll take any kind of victory. And heading into match week 11, SD Huesca hosts Las Palmas. And Ani Babooli on the ball, passing it to Silva. And Luna threading it through to Babooli, and Babooli with the shot, making it Horkosh stretch for it. And this match was a very boring match of football, as Vera threaded it through to Ale Garcia, and Ale Garcia was one-on-one, had a shot but was unable to score, and what would be the last chance of the match as it ended 0-0. And SD Huesca collecting one measly point, bringing our point tally up to 17 points, and our record at 5 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. And heading into match week 12, SD Huesca would have to face off against Albacete. Enrique passing it to Fran Gomez. And Liberto with a brilliant tackle, passing it to Babooli. Babooli on the ball now, cutting in. Babooli still on the ball. Babooli taking a touch, having a shot, and making the keeper stretch for it as it hit the post. And Hefte, not Jefe, on the ball, getting it taken off him. But Copy now, threading it through to Hefte. Hefte having a shot. Hefte having a shot off his own rebound, using his head and putting it into the back of the net as Albacete took a 1-0 lead, courtesy of El Jefe. And Liberto on the ball now. Liberto, brilliant pass to Babooli. And these two working together now. And Babooli finding Cortajarena, who threads it through it to Silva, who has a shot just wide. And Jimenez with a big boot like he's the Undertaker. And Neva's there to head it away. Arabas to Babooli. Silva to Portillo. And Babooli now on the ball. Babooli losing the ball. Fran Gomez losing the ball himself. Babooli having a shot. And Babooli putting it into the back of the net. And SD Huesca able to salvage a point out of this match at the dying moments. And with that point, we bring our total points up to 18. And our record at 5 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses. And if we want to win a title, we have to start winning these football matches as we head into match week 13, where SD Huesca host Andorra. And Imanol passing it right to Ani Babooli. Ani Babooli turning with the ball, and Silva now passing it, and Luna finding Ani Babooli. Ani Babooli able to get past the defense, left-footed shot, smashing it into the back of the net. And running straight to the crowd and showing him who the man is around these parts of town. And Ani Babooli beginning to make a name for himself as he keeps scoring goals for Huesca. Silva passing it to Luna. Silva to Babooli. Babooli with a fake shot, left-footed shot, making the keeper stretch. And that wonderful goal by Ani Babooli was enough to give SD Huesca a very important 1-0 victory. As soon as I mentioned that we need to start winning in order to mount a title challenge, lo and behold, look what starts happening. And look at Ani Babooli celebrating his victory with his team. Everyone in good spirits as SD Huesca managed to pick up another crucial 3 points, bringing our point total up to 21 points and our record as 6 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses. And I'm losing count of how many matches now it's been since our last loss. But heading into match week 14 of the Segunda División, Real Zaragoza await SD Huesca. And Soberon working with the ball. Soberon once again to Insua, Tony Moya to Tachi, Valerie to Tassano, and Babooli with some wonderful defense getting the ball, and Babooli now on the ball, cutting back, passing it to Luna. Luna to Babooli. Babooli with some skills. Babooli having a shot off the bar. A wonderful set of skills by Babooli. And Paulino to Francio. Insua to Francho. Francho to Paulino. Paulino on the ball to Raul Guti. Paulino once again to Dani Gomez, and Paulino making a run back to Dani Gomez, and it's Soberon putting the ball into the back of the net and putting Zaragoza up 1-0. I gotta say, it's a wonderful goal scored by them, but what the hell? And Aribas able to find Babooli in the 60th minute. And Dani Ojeda cutting back, cutting in, passing it to Babooli. Babooli taking a few touches, having a shot, unable to score. How did Babooli not manage to score that? And the Moroccan magician would have another chance in the 73rd minute as he passed it to Ojeda, and Ojeda passed it back to Babooli. Babooli was able to pass it to Liberto, and Liberto on the ball. Liberto with a shot, and Liberto somehow managing to put it into the back of the net. And SD Huesca able to salvage a very important point. And with that point, we managed to keep our unbeaten run alive. And with that very important draw, we bring our point total up to 22 points. And our record has 6 wins, 4 draws, and 4 losses. Although we were not able to get that victory, we managed to not lose, keeping our 8-match unbeaten run alive and well. And heading into match week 15, we would face off against Sporting Gijón. And this would prove to be a very tough match, as Garcia passed it to Gelabert, and Gelabert passed it to Nacho Martin, who was able to find Dubassin, and Dubassin lobbed the ball over, and Ortero was unable to put it into the back of the net. And Dani Ojeda on the ball, lobbing it over. Ani Babooli unable to get on the other end, but managing to get on the bounce of the defender's clearance, and Babooli now heading towards goal. Crossing it in, but Yares is there to collect. And this match very end to end. In the 64th minute, Gaspar on the ball. And Gaspar took the ball down the touchline. Gaspar trying to make some magic happen. Gaspar with some step overs, unable to get past Tony Abad. And Gaspar with a cross. Dubassin on the other end. Bernal passing it to Dubassin, who has a cracking shot and manages to put it in the back of the net in stunning fashion. And just as I mentioned, this unbeaten run, look what happens. We get our asses whooped and we manage to lose. And with that loss, we remain on 22 points and we fall down to 9th place in the Segunda División. And our record goes to 6 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. A very disappointing showing from SD Huesca, and it does not get any easier as we now have to face off against title contenders UD Almeria. And Babooli getting us kicked off here nice and early, and Babooli just looking at the ball. I wonder what's going through his head. Arribas to Babooli. Cielva able to find Babooli. Babooli with some skills. Babooli challenging any defender, and Cielva to Babooli. Babooli past the defense, having a shine, putting it into the back of the net. Ani Babooli managing to score his 11th goal as he does the chicken dance in front of all of these chickens. And in the 54th minute, Almeria would try to respond. A wonderful shot was blocked by Jimenez, and Almeria was relentless in their attacks. Lopi lobbing it over, and it's Centelles there to collect it with his head and smash it into the back of the net. But we are saved by the flag as we collect a 1-0 victory over Almeria. A very important victory for SD Huesca as we manage to collect the all-important 3 points. A very happy Ani Babooli as he heads to the locker room. And you can see here we advanced to 8th place in the Segunda División with a total of 25 points, and our record advancing to 7 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. And as we head into the Copa del Rey, round 1, we face off against SD Eibar in what will be a very intense match of football. And Batista passing it over to Alcaín. And Batista making a wonderful run, smashing it just wide. Olatera to Albacaron, and Cielva to Babooli. Babooli on the ball. Babooli passing it over, and it's Luna to Babooli. Babooli taking a touch. Babooli losing the ball to Marco. Babooli not giving up as the first half comes to an end. A 0-0 stalemate. Alcaín to Mada. Alcaín on the ball. Alcaín turning with the ball. And Alcain with a brilliant pass to Mada, who has a shot, but Jimenez is there with the collection. And that's it. Babooli hooked after a stinker, and he must watch the rest of the match from the bench. And I'm gonna save you the boring watch and head straight into the penalty shootout that took place between Eibar and FC Huesca on December 3rd, 2026, as Marton was the first to step up, burying his penalty. And Cortajarena was first to step up for SD Huesca, and Cortajarena smashing it into the top bins like Voltamada. And Javi Martin having a shot down the middle, putting it into the back of the net. And Liberto was the second man to stand up in the shootout for SD Huesca, and he buried it into the back of the net. And Tony Villa stood up for Eibar, and Tony Villa got stuffed like a turkey by the keeper. And Sergei Enric would step up. The man who got replaced by Ani Babooli was able to find the back of the net. And Alcain would stand up to the spot for Eibar, and he would smash it right into the hands of the keeper. And due to a poor performance on the field, Ani Babooli now had to watch his teammate get the opportunity to take the game-winning penalty from the bench. And Angel Perez was not gonna miss his opportunity to send SD Huesca through to the next round on a penalty shootout, as Ani Babooli was still celebrating with his team, because this man is a humble king and he cares more about the team than he'll ever care about himself, and that's for damn sure. And we await to see who we get drawn against in the next round of the Copa del Rey. But heading into match week 17, SD Huesca hosts Real Valladolid. And Ani Babooli would pass it to Danny Ojeda in the 17th minute, and Ojeda would cut back and pass it to Ani Babooli, who would have a shot, and it would go just wide of the post. And Juric with a wonderful shot of his own just wide. Peter took it down the touchline in the 72nd minute, and Peter Griffin crossed it in, and Jimenez was there to collect it. And the match came to an end, a 0-0 stalemate between the two teams, and with that very boring draw, we find ourselves only collecting 1 point, and you can see a very disappointed Ani Babooli. Is this perhaps the beginning of a goal-scoring drought for Babooli? Only time will tell. And after 17 matches played, our record stands at 7 wins, 5 draws, and 5 losses. We have a goal difference of +2, and point total is 26 points as we sit in 8th place. We have a long way to go, but we also have a very long season ahead. And that is where we will end today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This has been Dennis from Climbing Wall Gaming. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.